Hey guys, it's Chris at The Ultimate Recycler. We're going to do a part 10 now, another unboxing video. I've got some stuff on the table here. This is part 10 of our vintage radio shed house lot cleanup. We're still going through lots of stuff and it will be ongoing, so I thought I'd touch base and do another part for you. These boxes here are out of the radio room and they're all labelled, and I'll show you what's in them, and let's just check them out, see if they work, see what value there is for me. And one of them is a a gramophone, which we did unpack a little bit when we were up at the place cleaning up the shed, and I've found some old 78 records, so we'll give it a little bit of a test and see if it works. Okay, the four items we're going to look at is or for a start, this piece here. This is a transformer. It's actually an electric blanket transformer. I've seen these before. I'm really just going to test it, see if it works. We might have a look inside. People don't use these old ones for electric blankets at all anymore, but I think it's 32 volts output, so we will have a bit of a check at that, and it might be a handy workshop transformer for running old 32 volt equipment. So we'll look at that in a second. These other ones are all labelled, as everything was in this shed, which was amazing. This is a tape recorder, a Uher. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I think it's German. We'll have a look at that. I haven't really opened it other than make sure that it is some sort of tape recorder in there, so we'll check that out. This other one's he's called it a spring gramophone for 78 records. We have had that out of the box, but I want to see if it works. And we'll work out a price for that as well. This other one, I don't really know anything about. It's a 12 watt PA amplifier, Philips circuit. So it's an old valve one. It's not in a case, so it looks like one of those, I think they call them a monoblock valve amplifier, but then this might be different being a PA one, I don't know. We'll have a look, we'll check it out, we'll see if we can actually get it running. And as I said, I've got a couple of records here, 78 records that we'll try on the gramophone. So let's get to it. We'll have a look at this transformer first, and we might plug it in through our isolation transformer and just make sure the thing works. And I don't know what current it delivers. It's got a normal mains 240 volt plug there. It probably dates to the 1960s, I would suggest. They're all flat slot screws, so it wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be in the 70s, I think it'd be 60s. This looks like it's just a handle. I think it pushes back, can't move it at the moment. So we might take the cover off and have a look and see what's in it first, and then we'll power it up and see if we can get some voltage out of it. Now it has a plug in the back, or it looks like a blank, and if we take that out, it's got an unusual configuration. It's just got 2 pins, and it has got a, oh yeah, that's where the cord comes out. So we could wire a cord up to suit this transformer. It says 32 volt maximum. I'm assuming that's still AC. It may be DC voltage, I'm not too sure. I don't know what these old electric blankets used to run off. But it's good we've got a plug to suit that socket. Now, to take the case off, it looks like the 4 screws that actually go through the feet are all we need to do. So let's do that, and we'll have a look what's inside. Now, I've just noticed there's some details on the bottom, and I'll tilt it so that I can read it. I'm not sure if you guys will cop the reflection or not. 86 watts. Primary 240, secondary 30 volts maximum, 2.8 amps. Okay, I think it's AC output. I don't think it's a rectified voltage. So it's interesting that we know at least how many amps it can deliver, which will be important. The control actually has, as with most electric blankets, a low, medium and high. It also has a minimum and a maximum. So there's actually 4 settings. I'm assuming that varies the voltage, and we'll be able to test that later if we get it running. So I've got the main screws out. Let's take the top cover off and have a look. Oh, it looks like we have to take the control knob off. We'll check that it's got a set screw first. No, there's no set screw. So it should just pull off. There we go. Oh, it looks like it's been a bit hot there, but the clip's still okay. Right, let's lift the cover off. Just one thumping big transformer. So we have our output, Our main transformer, there's no other circuitry, there's no bridge rectifier or anything, so we know it just delivers AC, and looks like a large heavy duty current switch here with an indicator light. So the transformer has tappings for all different voltages, so we'll measure the voltages. It could be a handy workshop transformer. Now I mentioned 32 volts. It may not mean much to most of you, but many old generator systems on farms and outlying areas used to actually run 32 volts before they had the mains power delivered in Australia. I'm not sure if they used that system overseas or not, but there were appliances that actually were designed to run on 32 volts. So if I get one of those down the track and want to repair it, well, I'll have a 32 volt transformer to supply them. So next, I'm going to leave the cover off. We'll take it into the other workshop and we'll plug it in through the isolation transformer to keep ourselves safe, and we'll do a few checks and just see what voltages we can get out of it. Alright, we're set up in the little workshop now. I'm running this through an isolation transformer, which provides protection so that if we do happen to touch something live, we won't get a new hairstyle and an alteration to our heartbeat. It looks all good. I couldn't see any issues with wiring. There's been no corrosion, no mice in there. It looks in good condition, so unless the transformer has a short or the switch has an issue, it should be operational. So I've got the meter just plugged into the output. You should be able to see that. We'll turn the mains transformer on, or the isolation transformer, and then we can turn our main switch here to minimum and watch the voltmeter. Oh, we had a flicker but nothing. Oh, the little light's on. I'm not sure why we've got no voltage. Let's go to low. Nothing. Alright, so we've got no voltage output. A little bit of a flicker. That's on high now. Let's go to maximum. Alright, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I have the meter on AC voltage up to 200. I wonder if it is DC voltage. There couldn't be a rectifier in the switch or anything, surely. I'm not sure. I'll have to test it with my other meter, but we've certainly got power to it. The indicator light's on. And I think I can hear a faint hum from the transformer, but we don't have any output voltage. Maybe there's something wrong with this meter. This meter came in a recent deal, and I've used it for diode checking and resistance, but I haven't actually measured voltage on it. I might try my other meter and see what happens. Alright, my bad. I just had a little look at this meter, and there is a button there to go from, I assume, DC voltage, which has no symbols on there other than the zeros or the numbers. Press that and you go to AC voltage. So we now actually have a reading, and the thing is still off. But we have a reading of almost 6 volts AC. A bit of leakage. I'm not sure if that's normal. I don't really know if that's a good thing, but it means that transformer's working. Let's go to minimum and see what we can get. Okay, it's bumped it to 10, nearly 11 volts. We'll go to low. And I'll move back a bit so you can see the switch. So we're on 14.5 volts. Medium takes us up to just over 16 volts. High, we're at 21.5. Maximum is 30, almost 32. So it appears to be working fine. The transformer's good. Obviously we've got no load on it at the moment, but it said, what I think it said, it can deliver 2.8 or 3 amps or something. So it looks like it's going to work fine. I'm not sure why we have a bit of voltage leakage when it's the actual main switch is off. It's not really going to matter. It's delivering the 32 odd volts at maximum, which is all I'm likely to need. It is AC voltage, as we surmised. It looks like it's going to be a handy little gadget if and when I ever need a 32 volt supply in AC. So that's all I'm going to do with this. I've proved that it's working. I'll put the cover back on. It doesn't need any repair work. All the wiring looks fine. So this can go on the shelf in my workshop, and we may have a use for it down the track. Value wise, I'm not sure what it's worth. I would pull out a figure of maybe $30, $40 if I put it in the shop. There'd be someone looking for a 32 volt transformer for projects, I'm sure. No one's going to run their electric blanket off it. I don't think you would find an electric blanket that would accept this power supply. I'm sure this is probably the only part of the original electric blanket setup that's still alive. Blankets eventually get pretty manky and probably been thrown out long ago. So great little 32 volt transformer. I'll probably never use the lower voltages, but the option's there if I need them. I'm pleased I got the plug with it. So good. We'll jot this one down at say $40 value, but I won't be selling it. I'll keep it in my workshop. Let's have a look at the next box now. Alrighty, let's get into this PA amplifier. I haven't had it out of the box. It looks like it's just sitting in there loosely. I have to put the camera down while I get it out. And there we go. So it's labelled at the front. Input microphone gain, input crystal pickup gain, and tone. Crystal pickup, would that be like a stylus for a record player maybe? Not too sure. They're obviously input sockets. There's an indicator light, a tone. You can see the valves are still there. What's in this little package? Put something in here. What's it say? Input plugs. So it's got a mains cord, so it's 240 volt. We have a 6V4 valve. I can't read this one. Let's pull it out and have a look. I've probably got replacement valves here if we need one. That looks like 6GW. I'm not sure. It's a bit rubbed off. Here we go. This one's a 6GW8, so that would be the same. Now, I don't know enough about valves to tell you if there's probably, maybe that's a rectifier valve. I think I'm still learning a lot about these old things. And amplifier valves perhaps, but I don't think it's a stereo 2-channel. I thought it was a mono. PA amplifiers are normally just 1 channel. There's 2 transformers. Let's have a look underneath. Looks all original. It may have been a kit form. What you said, Phillips circuit. So this may have been a kit that you could make up. This guy mucked around with electronics for a long time, and that does look homemade. All the original capacitors may need replacing, but it doesn't look damaged. It doesn't look like there's been any pieces removed or it's incomplete in any way. It appears to be in operational condition, assuming all the parts are okay. What's it say there? 15 ohms speaker. Ferguson's radio. They manufactured the transformer. It's Australian made. Okay, well, I'll do a bit of checking on this, but we will plug it in and see if we can actually have the thing function, to see if it's operational. Value-wise, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some checking. I'm not sure if this is one of those sought-after monoblock amplifiers. I may have to put it on eBay to establish what it's worth, but I think the first thing I want to do is have a bit of a play with it and see if we can get it to work. So I'll take it into my other room. We'll plug it in through the isolation transformer, and we will have to organise some sort of an input, and I'll have to find a speaker. I think it said 15 ohm. I'm not sure if it's going to make a big difference whether you use an 8 ohm speaker, or maybe I can put a resistor in to make the load 15 ohms. Anyway, we'll take it into the other room and have a play. Here we go, all ready to power up and have a play with it. I have made up a lead into one of these input plugs that they had in the bag. There's the other one, so it's nice that we have the plugs to go with it. And that lead, I'm actually feeding a signal from my radio tuner. So I think that will work. I didn't have a microphone handy to plug into it. I think the tuner input will work. As for the speakers, I've wired up some wires into my workshop speakers via that block over there, and they're 16 ohm speakers, so that should be perfectly fine. Now, I'm going to point out, as I have numerous times, that I'm no expert in electronics. I just fiddle around, and I figure that's the best way to learn. I would encourage anyone to comment as far as the best way to test these, or if you see me do something wrong, I certainly am happy for you to point that out, or there may be a better way of doing something. Quite often, and I think many of you might notice this too, you actually can learn more from a particular repair job in the comments section than what the actual guy is showing you. I've been called a cowboy at times and not knowing what I'm doing, and well, look, I readily admit I'm no expert. So I looked up this amplifier, and I think it is what they call a monoblock amplifier. There is another valve under there as well I forgot to look at before, and that's an EF86, which I think is a standard preamp valve. The 6V4 is a full wave rectifier, and these two are pentode valves, which I'm not exactly sure what they do. I really don't understand old valve circuitry that much, but I like to have a play with it. So we have an input signal, we have speakers connected, there's no on-off switch anywhere, so I'll make sure the gain's turned down on both these, even though we're not using that input. The tone shouldn't matter. We've got it plugged in through our isolation transformer, and I haven't turned it on yet, so let's see what happens together. Hopefully the smoke doesn't get out. Okay, we have power on. Now the valves will take a while to light up, and I can see the glow in the 6V4, so that's good, we have power. So I haven't got any input signal into it yet. I'm just going to let it warm up for a bit. Hopefully it's all in operational condition, and I think I might actually sell it on eBay, and I'll give you the results at the end of this video. Now whether it actually goes or not, I'll describe it as best I can and sell it. I did a quick search on eBay. Generally these monoblock amplifiers, which is a single channel, they often come in matched pairs so that you can actually run a stereo signal, and they can bring really big money. So the valve amplifiers are pretty popular. A single one like this might be good for a guitar amp, I'm not too sure. But the beauty of eBay is if you present something accurately, the right people will find it, and you should, I think, get a market value. So it's had a fair bit of warm-up time. I can't see any glowing from the two valves at the front there, but oh yes, there is at the back of that one. Probably a bit hard to pick up through the camera. I'm not going to touch anything yet, even though we've got it through our isolation transformer. I'm best to keep my fingers out of it. All right, now if we turn the tuner on, we should have a signal come into it. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's playing through it now. I better turn that off for a tick. We can't play too much music. I'll go to another channel. Oh, that's not a good one. We've got no reception. All right, so we have the ABC on. So that's playing through my workshop speakers now. At one stage there, I thought I'd forgotten to disconnect my amplifier, but I've got all my amp wires out, and the amplifier's disconnected from the speakers there. So this thing is actually working. Now let's turn up the gain. I assume that's essentially a volume.
Her husband at the school race is about 9 years ago, now called.
There we go. It's very crackly.
I see. Yeah, and were you sort of, have you spent a bit of time?
Other than the crackles, which I would presume is from the old capacitors, they will need replacing, but that unit is actually working, and I only turned this gain up a small amount.
Yeah, it's a great part of the
and that is quite loud in the shed. I'm not sure if you can appreciate that on the video,
Amy. Thanks for the call.
but I can barely hear myself talk when that's on. I'm really impressed with that. We don't have an indicator light, or do we? No, we don't, but that's neither here nor there. So there we go, one vintage, possibly homemade valve amplifier, a single channel. Now I did wire up both speaker wires because there was two speaker outlets, and we do have both the speakers running, but I don't think it's a stereo signal. I think they're just a mono signal. But again, I could be wrong on that. Certainly correct me if you know more about these things, as I'm sure some of you will. But I think I can actually list that on eBay as working order, original. Would probably need, well, it would need recapping, I would imagine, if you're going to use the thing. I might just try the other input and see if that works as well. Now, what should we do? We'll leave that one down. We should be able to just interrupt. Oh, I think there's a bit of a loose wire on my connections. Yeah. I'll pull this out. Yeah, I have a dodgy connection on. It did take a little bit to try and get the solder to stick to that plug, so I don't think I've got a very good connection. We'll see if we can reach this one. That's got to go around that way. And there we go.
I love the way the short sheet.
So both inputs are working. I think my wire's about to fall out of there. We might turn it off now. I don't need to do any more than that. I'm very happy that that works. I'll run that through eBay. I'll show you my listing, and at the end of this video we will know what it's worth. Okay, I'm still excited about that old valve amplifier working. I'll be putting that on eBay tomorrow. Now this box, the next one in this investigation, it's a tape recorder. It looks like, oh, there's the booklet for it. And it's a Uher, or I don't know, say it with a German accent maybe. I'm not going to attempt that. 4000 report L operating instructions. It looks like it's here in its original case. Oh, we've got a microphone in the box. So I'll take all this out. I don't know if this is just with it or whether it's a part of the kit. It's not branded the same. Looks like a pretty good mic. I might have to check that one out too. This one has its own carry case with a strap. And I think it was a reel-to-reel tape player. Did it say that on the box? I can't remember. Let's get it out of here and have a look. Oh, it's heavy for its size. It's got a power cord. It's got some sort of audio cord. Get the box out of the road. Now, I haven't checked eBay or anything on these either. I have to, oh, it's branded nicely on the handle. It looks in pretty good condition. So let's get these clips open, doing this one-handed. Oh, how do we get into it? Oh, there's the top. Oh, okay. Well, that looks pretty cool. But we must have to lift this panel up to get the cassettes in. That's the stop, play, forward, reverse type of setup. It has a fairly comprehensive. Oh yeah, the case unclips with press studs either side. There we go. It is a reel-to-reel. It's a smaller size reel. What are they, 5 inch? I was going to say 5 1/4, but I'm thinking of the old floppies. Did it say on the box? Let's have a look at the box. 5 inch reels, yeah. Okay, so unfortunately there's only a blank one. We can't actually play anything. I guess I can test to make sure the motor drives and everything and the drive bolts are okay. Looks in very good condition. I might have a reel at the shop. Must have a look. But I guess we can take it into the other room and power it up and see if it looks like it's going to work. On the bench now, ready for a power up test. I did notice with the microphone that it is an actual Uher branded microphone, and I just quickly checked eBay on these ones, and they were bringing, I saw 3 sold. One was 60 and 2 was 75 or something. So that's going to be worth a bit to sell. I don't know if I'll put it on eBay or leave it with this unit. If the whole unit goes well, we might do an eBay listing for this too. I did find, I had a quick look and found quite a lot of these on eBay. Most of them were listed as not working, mainly because the people were saying they didn't know how to use it. So I don't know how to use it either, but I won't let that stop me. Alrighto, let's give it some power. Nothing's lit up. It probably doesn't have an on-off as such, unless there's one on the volume there. No, there's no light on the meter. This, I'm not sure what this is, a speed adjust or something. Looks like a gear shift. Oh, look at that. It's like a gear shift. Alright, taking off my lights first, second, third, Probably shouldn't do that. Okay, let's see if it goes. Now, I suppose they can just stay in one of those slots. We have start. It's as good a button as any to push. Oh, nothing. Stop. That's probably a fast forward. Nothing. It's not even humming. Rewind. No. The stop button sticks a bit. Oh, that's pause. How does that come off? Yeah, the mechanics feel very clunky. Doesn't feel very smooth. I don't think it's been used for a long time. But we didn't have anything working here. That moves. That one does turn. They're very stiff though. We'll go for start again. Well, I think I saw a little bit of movement here. Well, it feels like it's trying to go. Maybe it's just too stiff and the belts are slipping, but I can't hear a motor running, so I'm not even sure that we've got power. I better have a look around to see if there's an actual switch. Most cassette decks, though, just power up when you press on. You know, you press play. There's no switches down that side. And we just have some audio outputs down this side. And I don't think there's anything on the back because yeah, that's just in the case. So I think it's got a motor drive problem, whether it's belts or whether the motor's not getting power. The question now is, how far do we go with it? There's no switches here. Oh, that's a switch. But I don't know what it does. Okay, I'm starting to see why people listed this unit as parts only, because they didn't know how to work it. Yeah, I reckon we're just getting a little bit of movement on that pulley when I press start. Yeah, did you see that? I reckon that moves a little bit. So I think we've got power. I think there's an issue with the drive. It's most likely a drive belt because they perish. I looked up this unit and I think it was late 60s, 1967 I think I saw. If they're the original drive belts in there, they're going to be well and truly shagged, I would think. So I don't know if I should put effort into this one or not. As I said, I saw a lot of them on eBay. Some of them said they were working and they didn't make big money. There was one I think made a couple of hundred, but a lot of them were saying untested, but it appears to power up, and mine actually doesn't. And they were still only getting sometimes less than 100. I don't think I'm going to list it. I reckon I'm going to put it in the shop as is and say it doesn't power up or something, or just, you know, parts or repair is always a good line. I'll sell the microphone. I might list the microphone on eBay. If we can get 50 for that, that's good. It'll be easy to post. I don't know if I can test it though, because it hasn't got a normal plug. It's got an unusual sort of plug. I think I might put that in the shop for say 30. Someone will take a punt on it. We'll put this whole unit in the shop for 50, and we'll just leave someone who knows about these things to buy it. And if they get a good goer, well, good luck to them. That's fine. I've got to pick and choose what I spend time on. So we'll jot this one down as parts or repair. It's got the book and everything. In fact, I saw a few of these operating instructions books sell for like $20 on eBay anyway, and even reprints, photocopies were selling. So someone will get pretty good value in the shop if we put $50 on that late 60s German reel-to-reel tape player, cassette, or not a cassette, reel-to-reel tape player. Parts or repair, unsure if it works properly, if it has new belts, I'm not sure. We'll put 30 on the microphone as well. So we're getting some pretty good value return without wasting hours and hours trying to research it and fix it, and then maybe only get 150. So I'm picking my battles. This one I won't battle on with. So that leaves this video. All we have to do is have a look at the gramophone. And the final thing in this unboxing is our pretty cool old gramophone. If you looked at one of, I forget which episode it was in, maybe episode 2, we unpacked this in the shed whilst we were cleaning up. So we'll get it out again. We'll give one of these records a spin. I don't need to take this one into my other workshop area because we don't need an isolation transformer. We don't even need fancy stuff like electricity. So we'll get this beast out. Oh. And we'll, which way does it open? Open up that way. And there we have it. If you haven't seen the episode where I discovered this, I was pretty excited to find this. It's a fairly unassuming sort of brown, dark maroon case, but inside she's a ripper. So it's all here, and I think we established in that video that the spring's okay. So what we'll do is we'll make sure it's wound up, and we'll see if we can play you a record. Okay, we've wound the spring up. We've got to wind the handle in first, and once it winds in and locates in the motor, it will wind the spring, and you can feel the tension on it. So we'll wind her up a bit. It's got the brake on the turntable, otherwise the turntable would be spinning now. So that'll do. We don't want to overstrain the spring. I don't know when it was last used. We'll release the brake. There we go, the turntable works. So we'll leave that back on for now. And we'll select a record. Now, I don't know that we can play much of it. I'm not sure if it's actually still copyrighted music because it's very old. It's Out of the Dawn, a Foxtrot by Paul Ash and his orchestra. And this side is In a Bamboo Garden, another Foxtrot. Leo Risman and his orchestra with vocal chorus. Alright, we'll try the Bamboo Garden one. Alright, let's see what happens. I think we can rest a needle. I've got a needle in there. It didn't have one when I first found it, but I found some needles. And we can release the brake. Perhaps we need to get the speed up first. And we should have some music in a tick. There we go. So I'll have to interrupt it every so often. Great noise, actually. We're not getting any vocals though. There we go. That will have to do. As I said, I don't know if this music's copyrighted, but you know, maybe it shouldn't be. But look, that's great. The thing works. I can have this playing in the shop. What a great atmosphere it will be. It works beautifully. But there we have it, a beautiful, fully functional, old-fashioned wind-up gramophone. The spring seems quite powerful. It should play a whole song on one wind. Possibly a bit more. You are supposed to change these needles. The needles on these things are basically just like a needle. They're just a point of steel. And you can hear when I flick that with my thumb, you can hear the noise reverberating. It's quite fascinating how these things work. No electricity, just a spring to make them operate, and a little diaphragm that amplifies the sound down through the tube, and it comes out this back white section. So a great piece there. It's a Decca brand. I would say it's 1930s, 40s, around that era. Nice nickel plated. It's in really good nick. There's no rust on it. The case is really good too. Very happy with that. I'm thinking I would probably put about $200 on this in the shop. Certainly not worth eBaying. They're not rare, but this one is really good nick. But the postage would be a killer. They're very heavy. So I'll put a couple of $100 on this in the shop. I might go a little higher. We might say $235, and I can enjoy it in the shop for a while. And if someone wants to haggle down the track, I'll knock a bit off. So it might squeeze into the top 10 on this deal. So that was a bit of fun. It's always cool checking out old electronics, and particularly these gramophones. They're great. So much character. So we won't finish this video up just yet. We'll get an eBay result on the amplifier, the valve amplifier. I'll give you prices on the other things and this one. So we'll wait and see how the amp does, and then we'll tidy up this unboxing video. Some pretty good value out of a few more boxes from this amazing shed deal. So here's my listing for the valve amplifier. You can see I did lots of good pictures here. I'm actually not, hang on, we'll go through this way. I'm not logged in at the moment. I'm just looking at eBay from an unregistered user. But I do lots of clear photos. I started the auction at $100, and you can see it's shot up to 167. It's been on for 10 days. There's 2 minutes and 31 seconds to go. And I have I can't remember, I think there was about 20 something watches on it, so there could be a sniper. Sometimes the price in the dying seconds can really go berserk, and it's always fun to watch an auction finish when there's plenty of interest. So 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go. I'll scroll down a little bit. If you pardon all these ads, they don't normally show up on my page, but because I'm not logged in, and I'm doing that to protect the winning bidder's ID. I don't think it's very polite to show who it is. So there's my description. You can freeze the clip and read that if you want. I like to put as much detail in as possible. I think that really adds to the sale price because it all comes back to buyer confidence. And if you present good pictures and a good description and have a good feedback, you can see I've got 16, 21, 100% positive. I really put in an effort to keep a good reputation because it does reflect in your final price. So we've got a minute and a half to go. 167.50, 13 bids. The postage on it is fairly expensive. Now, the 25.55 I think would be within Victoria. It would be much more expensive to go interstate and prohibitively expensive to go overseas. But look, I didn't know what it was worth, and this is a great way to basically feel the market and see what the market thinks the value of this is. I did explain that I had it running and the thing does operate, but I readily admitted my limited knowledge on these things. So 48 seconds. Let's see if there's any interest at the end. I'd be quite happy to get the 167, really, to be honest. But I have a suspicion that these things have a real following, even though this one actually was a kit, or at least I believe it was. But the valves and the transformers, oh, here we go. It's jumped to 182.50, 28 seconds to go. The guys that know these things will know what it's worth, and they'll put in their maximum bid. I'm kind of hoping someone local buys it because I don't have to package it, but we'll see what happens. So 15 seconds left. Let's see if there's any further action. 10 seconds. Sometimes people use an automatic snipe program that only comes in the last 2 seconds. Let's see. 210. Any last bids? 223. That's pretty good. Very happy with that. And there's the completion there. So it's going to cost the winning bidder, assuming I posted, about $250. So very happy with that one. It may even sneak into my top 10 on this deal. So thanks for watching that, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I have a question though. These videos tend to go quite long, so I'm wondering, I've got a lot of other electronic stuff to test and some good hi-fi gear and even some speakers that are here on the bench. Should I just do one item at a time, and some of the videos will be very quick, and any that I have to do a repair job on, well, that can go a bit longer. I think it might work better as far as YouTube search goes, because if someone wants to search a valve amplifier, unless I can get all those keywords in the title, they may not find my video. So give me some feedback on that. I know some of you like to sit down and watch a good long video. Others won't watch a video any longer than 5 minutes. So look, just give us some feedback. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will be doing another video shortly. I've got lots of stuff to unbox, and that one will be on these speakers over here. And let me just pan around. These ones, they're nice little English-made speakers. And also there's a Rotel turntable, you may remember from the first episode, which I think is quite a good one. So I'll do a video on those two soon, but I've got lots more to unbox. So we may just do one item at a time if they're interesting enough. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye.